Hi, this is Munson from Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you can play a song called Without You by Rafael. And it starts out on a really cool G major chord. And the way we're going to play this, we're going to put first finger on the A string on the second fret, second finger on the low E on the third fret, third finger on the B string on the third fret, and take the pinky and go to the high E on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that's called G major, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the G major, we're going to be going to a D major chord. We'll talk about some other D major options in a minute. But the way you play regular D major is first finger is going to go to the G string on the second fret, second finger is going to go to the high E on the second fret, and third finger is going to go to the B string on the third fret. And if you strum just the top four strings, just the B, G, B, and E, that'll get you your clearest sound out of that, and that's called D major. It sounds really happy. And then from the D major, we're going to be going to something called C major 9, which looks a lot like the G chord we started with. We're going to put first finger on the D string, second fret, second finger is going to go to the A string on the third fret, third finger is going to go to the B string on the third fret, and the pinky is going to go to the high E on the third fret. And if you strum just the A string to the high E, that'll get you your clear sound with that, and that's called C major 9. It sounds really, really happy. And then a lot of our verse is going to kind of revolve around those three chords, but then we're going to be going to an E minor 7, and the way we're going to play E minor 7, first finger is going to go to the A string on the second fret, second finger on the D string on the second fret, and we're going to leave third finger on the B string third, pinky on the high E on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like E minor 7. It sounds really, really sad. And then from the E minor 7, we're going to be going back to D major, and then going back to the C major 9. And at the end of our verse, we're going to hit an A minor chord. And when we play A minor, first finger is going to go to the B string on the first fret, second finger is going to go to the D string on the second fret, and third finger is going to go to the G string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds like an A minor chord. It sounds really, really sad. So from the very beginning, we've got kind of G major, D major, C major 9, G major, D major, C major 9, E minor 7, D major, C major 9, and then A minor is kind of a stop time thing. Now those are all the chords that we're going to need to kind of play through it, and a lot of times with a song like this, to make it more interesting, I like adding something called a strum pattern to it. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. And we'll talk about another one later on, but just to try that, you'd have G with kind of a down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So you want to try and do that a lot. And we try that through our verse. The weird thing is we're going to be halving a lot of the G's and D's, and then the E minor D's. So on this part, you could just do down, down, up on the G, down, down, up on the D. And kind of half those guys with the strum pattern. So from the beginning that way, you'd have G with down, down, up, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, E minor 7, down, down, up, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, A minor. And then from there we could do, actually our chorus, we could do a lot of those same things. So we're going to try that through our chorus. We have our first chorus, we got G, down, up, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, E minor 7, down, up, D, down, down, C major 9, down. And then a lot of the rest of the song is going to be kind of repeating those parts until we get to our bridge part. And on our bridge part, we're going to start on the A minor, and then do the D major, and then do the G major, and then we go to the C major 9. And a lot of that's going to be halving like we were talking about. So you'd have A minor, down, up, D, down, down, G, down, down, C, down, down, A minor, down, down, D, down, down, G, down, down, C, down, down, A minor, down, down, D, down, down, up. And then there's kind of a stop time thing in the bridge where you just do downs on chords, where we'd have G, D, E minor, D, and then we go back to C major 9, and actually that's kind of where the strum pattern kind of picks back up on the C major 9, C major 9. So those are kind of all the parts to our song. The weird thing is, instead of playing on a G major, starting on a G major, Rafael is actually starting on a B flat major chord. So to play along with the recording, what you want to do is take a capo, and if you put that on third fret, then now your G major is really a B flat major. Your D major is really an F major. Your C major is really or C major 9 is really an E flat major 9. And then your E minor 7 is really a G minor 7. And your A minor, when we get to it, is really a C minor. But just to try that through our verse, you got G with down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, D minor 7, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, big A minor. And then we got our first chorus. Then we got our G, down, up, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, D minor, down, down, D, down, down, big C major 9. And then we come in on an instrumental part that's very much like our verse. We got G, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, up. And then we go into our second verse where we got the G, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, D minor, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, A minor, down, down, D, down, down, up. And then we'd be going into our second chorus. Then we got our G, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, D minor, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, D minor, down, down, D, down, down, up. And then on that last C major 9, it almost feels like you're going to kind of just a down feel where you'd have down, 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 down. It's kind of a build up into our bridge part. And then on our bridge we got A minor, down, D, down, down, G, down, down, C, down, down, A minor, down, down, D, down, down. And then there's this really cool lick that kind of comes in on that part of the bridge where you go third fret on the low E, and then open A, and then second on the A, and then third fret on the low E, and then third fret on the A, and then second fret on the A. So you got 3, 0, 2, 3, 3, 2. It's kind of a lick, or you could just do the G and the C. So that's kind of the lick that's happening in the bass part around that G, down, C, down, down. Is that 3, 0, 2, 3, 3, 2. And then we'd be back to our A minor, down, D, down, down. And then we've got our blocking part where we're just doing downs. G, D, E minor, D. And then we go to C with the whole strum pattern. C with the down, down, up, down, up. And then we kind of end on our chorus part where we got the G, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, D minor, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, D, down, down, C major 9, down, down, up, down, big G on our very end. So that would be one way to play through the song, kind of a path of least resistance. Now a couple other D chords that you may want to try and add into the song. At some points it sounds like instead of playing the D major, there's actually a D sus going on, and this could actually be easier than making the change to the D in a lot of parts of the songs. And what a D sus is where you have the D major down, and you take the pinky and kind of go to the high E on the 3rd fret. So I've got first finger on the G string on the 2nd fret, third finger is kind of important on the B string on the 3rd fret, and then the pinky on the high E on the 3rd fret. So it's almost like a little piece of like the G and the C major 9 kind of added to the D chord. And you still kind of try and strum just the top 4 strings with that. So for some of your D chords, you may want to try substituting in the D sus and see if that sounds more like the recording to you. And then something else, another D major you may want to try and add in, is at times it almost sounds like there's a D sus / F sharp chord going on for the D's. And what that is what that means is you're taking the D sus that we just talked about, but now you're putting an F sharp in the bass. And I'm thinking A sharp or F sharp from not the capo. Actually, when the key we're in, it's going to be an F / A. But the way you play that chord is first finger is going to go to the low E on the 2nd fret, second finger is going to go to the G string on the 2nd fret, and then third finger is going to stay on the B string 3rd fret, and pinky stays on the high E on the 3rd fret. And all together, that sounds a D sus / F sharp. So on that very first change in our verse, you could actually do that G, down up, D, sus, slash, F sharp, down up, C major, not down, down, up, down, up, and then you won't have to move the third and the fourth fingers on the high E at all, actually, until you get to your A minor chords. Something you want to think about, just kind of adding to the D chords through the song. Now something else is this song actually kind of has more of a 16th note strum pattern feel than an 8th note pattern feel. And what I mean by that is if you're tapping your foot to the beat, and you divide it into two parts, 1, 2, 1, 2, that's called an 8th note. And our down, down, up is working off of that strum pattern. But if you tap your foot and kind of went and divided it by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's called a 16th note. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 16th note pattern with a song like this is long down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. And what I mean by that is like if you take the G major and do a long down for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's what you're doing on the first beat. And on the second beat, you're doing a down on 1, down on 3, up on 4. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the third beat, you're doing an up on 2, down on 3. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, up, down, 1, up, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then on the last beat, you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, right along with the 16th note. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So all together, you got long down, 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 up. Tried that through our verse. The weird part is where we're halving the G and the D and the E minor and D, we're just going to do long down, 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 up, and kind of half that 16th note strum pattern. So from the beginning that way, you got the G with a long down, 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 do the long down, 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 so major on down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, do the long down, 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 do the long down, 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 so major on down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, E minor 7 down, 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 D down, 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 so major on down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, A minor with a big down. And when we get to your chorus, we tried it that way. I'm going to do that same kind of halving thing for the G and D and for our E minor D in our chorus. So you need to have G, down, down, do the down, 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 so major down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, E minor 7, down, down, D, down, down, so major 9. And on the instrumental part, we could do that same thing, and that's a lot like our verse. We got the G, down, down, D, down, 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 so major 9. And then from there we'd be going back to our verse, and now we're kind of strumming through a lot of those chords. So on your second verse, you got D, down, down, D, down, 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 so major down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, G down, 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 D down, 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 so major down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, E minor 7, down, down, D down, 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 so major down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, A minor down, 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 D down. Back on our chorus, so we got our G, down, down, D, down, 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 so major down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, E minor down, down, D, down, 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 C down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, G down, 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 D down, 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 C down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, E minor down, down, D down, 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 up, and then you may want to try still those downs on that second chorus build up, that C, C, C. On our bridge doing a lot of our halving where we have the A minor, down, down, C, down, 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 G, down, 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 C, down, 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 A minor down, 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 D, down, 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 3, 0, 2, 3, 3, 2, A minor, down, down, C, down, 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 G, D, E minor, D, C, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, C, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up. Going through that last chorus. But that's the basics of how you could play Without You by AJ Rafael. So good luck!